All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Still in that Christmas period where I have no idea what day of the week it is. So hopefully you guys are all doing well, excited, motivated, and ready for what should hopefully be a successful trading day. A few things for us to talk about here right before we get really kicked off. So first things first, right? Economic calendar. We got a little bit of Fed speak. We've got some 8:30 data which dropped. Not really anything interesting. And then we've got ISM and job openings here at 10. So again, right, might be a little bit of a slower start here to the morning prior to being aggressive. We're going to have kind of like a early window, right? If we get a look first 10, 15 minutes, right, we have an opportunity. If not, just wait it out, right, until 10 a.m. drops. And then obviously, right, or maybe not obviously, but like we mentioned yesterday, markets are closed on Thursday for the Jimmy Carter Memorial Day or however they want to classify it. So anytime a president dies or a former president dies, right, markets close for a day of mourning, and that is going to be happening here on Thursday. So that does make the week just maybe a little bit strange from like a price action perspective. Pretty rare that you get that type of PA. And just going to be a little bit cautious, right, in not allowing any of those moves to basically chop us out or get us stuck or do whatever, right? If I'm thinking back to yesterday's trading day and yesterday's trading session, it was a little bit of a choppier day, right? A couple moves that kind of faked me out and then moved. A couple moves kind of faked me down and then kept going. And there wasn't really a ton of kind of like trending price action. There wasn't really a ton of trending price action or anything along those lines to set me up and give me any really super smooth bits of price action. Now, a bit of that, right, was kind of compounded, and I made things a little bit maybe more challenging on myself than I needed to have been. Maybe a little bit rusty, right, after a few days away from the market, not really watching things that closely. And it wasn't cutting losers as aggressively as I needed, wasn't protecting winners as aggressively as I needed. And certainly that just probably built up just a little bit more anxiety, right? Like the idea or the desire or the objective, right, to be green yesterday made it a little bit harder on myself, or made things a little bit more challenging for myself. And so that is ultimately the scenario. But gives me something I need to focus on, right? That gives me a process-based objective, right, that I can work towards. It doesn't have to be something that is P&L based, right? I know that if I cut losers aggressively, if I cut winners as my P&L is increasing, right? If I protect myself as my P&L is increasing, I'm going to set myself up to be successful. And that is ultimately the reality that I am working towards, right? What are the process-based targets that I can focus on that removes the emphasis on P&L and puts all my energy into improving my technique? Because if I improve my technique enough, if I focus on those variables enough, then I will ultimately be a successful trader. I will make more than enough money. I'll accomplish every objective that I want. And I need to be able to delay that gratification, right? And that's like a P&L based gratification on a day-to-day basis so that I can actually accomplish my P&L objectives. It's kind of like a paradox, right? Where the more that you think about money on an intraday basis, the further and further you get away from your P&L goals, right? Or from your financial objectives. So it's the trader that can focus more or most on their technique, on their process, on their ideas, on their psychology, on their mentality, on their risk management, that ultimately actually gets closer towards achieving their P&L targets. And I've seen it in my own personal trading. I've seen it in, a lot of individuals trading. But the more pressure we put on ourselves to hit a P&L number in a day, in a trade, in a week even, the further and further we tend to get from that target. So the idea here, right, is if I'm thinking in dollars and cents, then every move is going to feel more dramatic. It's going to feel more like life or death. And I'm going to get closer to wanting to go like all in to get a relief of that anxiety. So I either get like a, so I either get like an all-in result, right? Where the relief of losing everything might feel better, right, than the relief of being correct. And we want to avoid that sort of feeling as much as I possibly can. And so that's why focusing on the quality of our process, right, the quality of our technique, the ability to remain in control is ultimately the most important element for traders. Because if we remain in control, we remain basically the kings of our castle or the queens of our castle, then we set ourselves up, right, to be able to repeat our process, to repeat our technique, and to basically survive our most obvious mistakes. And when we do that, we set ourselves up to accomplish absolutely anything we want from the markets, and we put ourselves in situations where it's easy to be green. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out here. Let's figure out what we want to do here today, and let's hopefully set ourselves up for what should be a successful trading session. I didn't check Forex Factory here. Fine. So yeah, what's the count here on ES? Let's start there. Yeah, week 3 out of 3 here. We're opening up in the implied middle. So what does that possibly suggest for us here this morning? Yeah, right. Most likely outcome here is probably consolidation or indecision, exactly like John and Jack are saying here. So spot on, right? We're likely targeting a move here towards that 60-70, right, if we're going to be bullish. And not too much needs to change. And then if we're bearish, right, we don't really have a scenario for that here today. Higher high, higher low on increasing volume, still a green candle. So bulls are in control, but they're not exactly like very strong bulls. So we're going to see basically how they shape up and how they come together here today. Oh, I should also mention today, team, I do have a hard out here today. I've got an appointment this afternoon that I simply cannot miss or be late for. So we're going to be trading with a little bit of a shot clock here. I will not be trading past 11:30 here today, but we should be hopefully done well before then. All right, NQ, let's count. Is it stronger or weaker than ES? Yeah, I would say that it's stronger than ES, right? Because it's a stronger candle shape. So we've got more of a body to this candle than what we have here on ES. And gives us maybe a little bit of a more pronounced breakout through the trend line, right? Whereas ES got stuck at that trend line there yesterday. So a slightly more enthusiastic view there potentially. And that might make it an easier focus for us here today. Right, and then we're targeting 21.9, right, as our starting point, and then a breakout past that area here for a continuation narrative. And then because it's a 3 for 3 here to the upside, we have a bearish and a standard, right? It's a trending price action here higher, and we're looking for that continuation instead of looking for reversals here today. All right. CL finally gave us that first red day, right? I mean, out of 6 days, right? Or 5 days, sorry, in a row. So finally saw a little bit of selling pressure there yesterday. What's the count on this? Two out of three, Jack, right? Red candle, increasing volume, gap up. So that gives us quote-unquote trending price action here to the downside, right? So it's an NA here for a bull case. And then to the downside here, right? Targeting pre-market lows, so that's approximately 73. And then we have it kind of mapped out towards the lower trend line here. So plenty of space down if we can get that move. So let's see if it comes together. All right, Apple, weak, right? So this is a Bollinger Band reversal type setup, potentially. And then to the downside, if we really get down under like 240, yeah, okay, maybe we can look for continuation narrative here, but it's weak bulls. Probably tells me more of that consolidation narrative like we've talked about here versus a super strong indication of trending price action. Yeah, that's straight, Jack. It happens sometimes. All right, Tesla. Red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. So we're looking for a 426 breakout. Maybe you could even look at like that Bollinger Band reversal / BB reversal. Or, right, you're looking for a 400 breakdown. And then that would have space down towards like 380-ish. Okay, Microsoft. Red candle, increasing volume, opening up in the implied middle. So possibly setting up here as an inside bar. All right, and so we're going to look for a breakout here over 434.50. Or, right, a breakdown under yesterday's lows of 425.50. Does Microsoft look more like ES or does it look more like NQ? Yeah, it looks more like ES, right? More of a possible signal here of consolidation where we're opening up in a top-heavy candle and kind of in the give or take implied middle of that range. Okay, Amazon. 3 for 3 here to the upside, right? Not quite outlier volume, but it is increasing. And so we're looking probably, I'm going to say 230 breakout here. Or, right, a bounce off the trend line. And then bearish NA. Okay, AMD, right? Semiconductors are hot. That could be what it is essentially driving the enthusiasm right here in NQ. So now we're looking for, this is a 3 for 3 to the upside again here. We're looking for a 131 breakout. Or find support inside yesterday's range. And then NA here for a downside scenario again. Okay, NVIDIA. Man, this thing is honestly a lunatic. 3 for 3 here to the upside, gapping up above previous all-time highs. Right, is that correct? Yeah. Insane. So we'd like to see probably previous all-time highs act as support here today, right, for a continuation breakout narrative. Or we're looking, yeah, I'm going to want to see all-time highs hold, pretty much. And that's it. Okay, Meta. Meta has adopted the counter of the go woke, go broke environment, right? They've added Dana White to their board. It's pretty interesting. Obviously, Zuckerberg, pretty big UFC fan, so that's kind of cool. Maybe you get some unique content for Oculus or whatever. And scapping up a little bit on that news, maybe not as much as it was earlier. I saw it up like 5% at one point. It's now sold off a little bit on that narrative. But you got good news, you got good volume, and a strong candle. Certainly seems like it's going to want to test that 638 and beyond, and could be pushing us towards new all-time highs. So, you know, we've kind of got like a little bit of a sneaky rotation here, right, into some names where Apple and Microsoft maybe look a little bit quiet, but the Metas, the NVIDIAs, the AMDs of the world are looking like they're ready to push up and really roar, which again, right, they're going to have a higher weighting in NQ than they are in ES, and that's going to give us a little bit maybe more confirmation that NQ might be the more tradable index here today. Now, I still want to keep stressing, right, that the base expectation is chop or indecision until we get a proven otherwise, but our proven otherwise is going to be driven by those alternative names, right? So we're going to want to pay attention to those closely here today, and if they do give us a level of enthusiasm, that should give us the green light to be aggressive. If they don't, then we're going to be pretty cautious here today, and just assume that price action is going to be a little bit, I don't know, like mean. It's probably the best word I can think of that isn't a curse. So we'll see how things kind of shape up here today, but certainly looks like there is a level of enthusiasm in our alternatives. And I say alternatives with like those Austin Powers quotation marks, right? Because we're still looking at the, you know, the why can't I say it? Okay, I'm dumb. But the Crazy Seven, I can't say magnificent. I can't, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to embarrass myself here. But for whatever reason, we can't seem to get a separation of all the names behaving here today. We're getting kind of like one or the other, and we're going to look to see if we can get a nice consistent story. So we're looking for that 632 breakout here this morning towards all-time highs, or right, a dip buy inside yesterday's range, and then NA for a bear case, right? Okay, Netflix, 3 for 3 here to the downside. A weak 3 for 3 to the downside. And it's opening up, right, in the middle or implied middle, right, of yesterday's range. So again, setting up as a possible inside bar. So again, we're either getting things that look like they're going to be consolidating here, right, where they're stuck kind of inside ranges, or we have names that look like they want to break out towards all-time highs. So we want to see those stories get consistent here this morning, and then if they do, we should have some joy. Because it's a bottom-heavy candle, I'm not going to be looking for rejections inside yesterday's range. I need to get through that 872 area before I can look for a continuation narrative. And the reason, right, is because if I'm going to look for rejections off of, say, like 884, all the pressure I have below that is dip buyers, right? I've got more evidence of dip buyers below, so it wouldn't be like following the path of least resistance. It would be selling into resistance, which I wouldn't want to do. Okay, and then Google, right? 3 for 3 here to the upside, kind of matching the narrative of possibly being more enthusiastic about breaking out here to all-time highs versus looking for a rejection or consolidation narrative. So we could look for maybe a dip buy off of 196 or a breakout over 198. And then bear case on a 3 for 3 here, right, is an NA. And then VIX, 15.86, continuing to sell off. So again, seeing some of that fear possibly leave the markets. And that maybe will make it a little bit easier for us to get a nice continuation narrative here to the upside. But we got to be just a little bit cautious. And it appears, at least at opening glance, that's going to be more of a tech-heavy day, right, than a ES day. So we'll see if we can get a strong, consistent narrative here today and hopefully shape us up for what should be a strong trading day. Again, you know, still only day 2 of the trading year for me here after, I don't know, 10 days off or something like that. So I don't need to be hyper aggressive here yet, right? I can kind of like work my way up into being, you know, the market savant that I know I can be. And I don't need to expect myself to make a tremendous amount of decisions here today. I'm really trying to focus on refining my process, right? Being confident that I'm executing those variables well. And if I take care of those variables, everything else should kind of fall into place. So that is really the primary focus here today. How can I control those variables? How can I control basically those expectations? And if I do, everything else will kind of fall into place and just kind of find my rhythm here again, right? So find my rhythm with my journaling, find my rhythm with my, risk management, find my rhythm with protecting winners, and fight back against that greed and that anxiety of like, oh, I missed out, right? Or whatever. Oh, I'm owed money because I wasn't working for 10 days or whatever it might be. It's going to be really all about controlling the variables I can't control and understanding that I get paid for my decisions, not my time. And the more that I optimize for the quality of my decisions, the better things are going to go for me here today. Any questions here, team? Anything that you guys want to go over? All right, fantastic. So I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, get all my blank pieces of white paper here so I'm set up to journal and track and do all those fun things. And then we will set ourselves up here for what should be a successful trading day. So back at it again in a few minutes here, team, and we'll chat then. All right, team. So let's get ready for what should hopefully be a strong and successful trading day. Like I said, right, ES probably a little bit more challenging for us to trade than NQ here today. But we'll see how that kind of comes together. And then if we do get a downside narrative, then the emphasis will be on CL. But we'll see how it goes, right? Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a stranger market here this week, right? With that Thursday holiday. It's a pretty rare one. Doesn't happen too often. So we'll see basically if price action is muted until basically that gets resolved. And we'll see how things kind of shape up or come together here today. But definitely anticipating a interesting trading day and optimistic about my ability to take advantage of price action here today. I guess like my goal for today, if I'm going to quantify it, would to not be fearful about cutting my losers early, right? So I don't want to be scared or nervous or anything along those lines about leaving money on the table. If for whatever reason I am wrong and cut a trade early, I can always jump in later, right? I don't have to catch the move all in one go here today, and I need to let go of like that ego that makes me feel that once I'm in a position, I have to be correct. So for me, that is really the thing that I want to focus on here as much as I can here this morning. If I'm able to control that variable, if I'm able to control basically that mindset shift, I'm going to be in great shape. If I don't, then I'm probably going to drain mental capital. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be grumpy and annoying and snappy and all these sort of things. And those aren't qualities that I generally value in myself. So I'd like to be, basically as disciplined, as successful as I possibly can be. And that's fundamentally going to start by being the best loser I can possibly be. So, oftentimes it feels like the best trader is the one that knows how to take a punch the best. And today, that's really what my focus and emphasis is going to be on, right? So I'm not here to obsess about trying to make as much money as I possibly can be. I'm obsessing over losing as well as I can, and if I lose well and I control those variables, then the money will take care of itself, and I'm going to be just fine in how successfully I'm able to accomplish my objectives. 2025 is going to be an incredible year for me from a personal level, right? I'm anticipating a lot of big changes in my personal life. And that's very exciting, right? And that's very nerve-wracking and terrifying, and moving countries is always a little bit scary. But it's understanding that to a certain extent, we deserve this success, right? We deserve seeing our lives progress, right? We deserve seeing things improve. And when we believe that we truly do deserve that, and we make our actions match our words and our beliefs, that's when we become unstoppable as traders and as investors. So I would challenge you all to believe that you deserve the success that you're chasing, right? That you deserve the ability to create that freedom for yourself, and to make every decision that you make towards that objective, right? Towards that sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, like the target in the distance, right? And the more that we can play this game with that long-term objective in mind and make our short-term actions match our long-term beliefs, then we're going to be in a situation that is a lot more profitable long-term, and we're going to set ourselves up for a tremendous amount of success. So we're not chasing, right, that short-term dopamine release. Like, I'm not chasing for that winning feeling as if I won a game of Baccarat. I'm chasing the feeling of behaving the way that I want today, so that the version of the trader, or the version of me that I want to be in 3 months and 6 months and a year, is not being delayed even further. And I think the more that I can obsess over those long-term targets and objectives, the better things go for me, right? The more successful I'm going to be, and the more joy I'm actually going to have. And the dopamine of accomplishing those objectives is going to outweigh the dopamine of getting a $500 win here today, or some short-term result. So for me, that is the obsession. That is the emphasis. That is the focus. and just understanding that the more that I make my short-term actions match my long-term goals, the better things go and the closer I am to accomplishing my dreams and my objectives. I know everyone has their own targets, everyone has their own desires that they're trying to work towards. And if you match your short-term behavior with your long-term goals, you will get there a lot faster. If you have to basically suffer the regret of chasing your short-term dopamine and you're judging yourself based on that, you're going to be taking the long way round, right? So that is sort of, in like a nutshell, that's kind of like what my target is for 2025. And I know that we can all accomplish it. We can all hit it. And we're all in this together so that we can do that here, right? I think that's one of the best things about this community, about this team that we've built here at DTR, is that there's not a single bad egg here. We're all supportive. We all want to be the best. We all want to prop ourselves up so that we can do it. And we can use the power of positive peer pressure to help us accomplish our dreams. So I'm really looking forward to what this year will bring for us. I'm very excited. I'm very motivated. I'm very excited to share these life changes with you all. And I'm very excited to see you all as well take that next step in your journey and accomplish all your personal objectives. So far, a little bit of selling pressure to start the day, right? But nothing too crazy. A little bit of selling into a dip buy off of that trend line would not be anything to complain about here. And maybe we just have to be patient here today, right? No worries. I will have to say, being a Canadian who's trying to immigrate to the States from the northern border is a lot more work than if I just took a road trip down south and found a coyote to help me get across. probably be cheaper and I'd be there by now. I'm going to try out a few places here, Kyle. I got a friend who's pushing me towards Austin. And, I mean, I've been dreaming of Florida for a while. So we'll probably settle up in one of those places. You know, it's funny, Mike. When I was 19, I moved to the UK. And I moved to London without having ever visited the city before. And it was not like nerve-wracking at all. It was such an easy move. And now, for whatever reason, I'm a little bit older, a little bit, I don't know if wiser is the right term, but I'm a little bit, you get stuck in your own thoughts a little bit, right? Yeah, Austin definitely is busy. I mean, so is Florida, right? Miami's certainly a busy city. So is Tampa, places like that. Oh yeah, I mean that's the point of taking the risk now. I can still do it with a lot less anxiety. Yeah, my dog is definitely a kid. Yeah, I was thinking about being on the East Coast, Oz. So, my dream, I want to play a lot of golf, and I want to be able to get a boat and after a trading day, go spend some time on the water. That would be incredible. So those are my objectives. So I was looking at, you know, like a Jupiter or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. So CL might be setting up here for a downside rip. We'll see how this goes with 20 seconds to go. Yeah, Miami's pretty expensive. Oh, there's so many spots. I think realistically what my move is going to be is I'm going to try to spend a few months like just doing short-term rentals. So find 3 or 4 cities that I want to check out, spend a month in them each, and see which one feels like best. Oh, that sounds great, Oz. I'd be down for that. Don't think that this is quite increasing volume. It's pretty much exactly the same. So I'm going to still delay that a little bit here. And now let's see if this trend line will hold here, right, as that test. If we get a high volume reversal off of that trend line, that's going to set us up nicely for that possible red to green reversal, which is probably my favorite setup to trade. Oh yeah, that would be awesome, Miguel. I want, I'm getting a little bit personal here today, but I want the complete opposite of what my life is right now in Canada. So I'm looking out the window. It's snowing, minus 10 Celsius outside. And yeah, I want the complete and total opposite of whatever that lifestyle is. So that's the dream. Yeah, I would, but the taxes in San Diego, not very appealing. So, go Bills. Go Birds. I'm an Eagles fan, John. Although, like, Eagles-Bills Super Bowl might be the drunkest New Orleans has ever gotten. And that would be saying something. Okay, NQ possibly giving us that reversal scenario here. So let's start mapping it out, see where it finds support. Again, don't want to see it pulling back too far here. So starting to watch. And stop loss have to be 717. Well, those things ripping pretty quick. So this might be a 5-min potentially. As is, right? Risking about $600 per contract, which is too much. So we need to get it under 40, right, to be justifiable from a risk perspective. And ideally, right, get an even deeper pullback than that. Yeah, Dallas would be okay. But yeah, Miami, that Miami area would be the target. I got a good friend in Dallas too. But just the Eagles fan in me, JR, might make it a little bit hard to call Dallas home. So I think I could still look for this scenario here. 760 would be the stop loss for now. Let's see if we can pull back here gently. Definitely not gentle today. Better. This is just a Fibonacci tool that I use to map out my risk reward. All right, so starting to watch here, team. Starting to watch here. Stop loss 760. Okay, so far nothing. Stop now would have to be 754. But I would say the pace that which it basically found 781 and then dumped, not great. A little bit better there. So tried to get a fill there at 771. Did not happen, so I canceled my order. Again, we'll try this again potentially. Good entry, Mike. Let's see if this thing can go for you here now. Does feel like it's a little bit stuck. I'm still waiting. Okay, good decision here so far. Now seems motivated to want to fake out. So that'd be 750. Yeah, I'm going to wait this thing out for now. I'm not quite behaving the way that I want. So again, didn't get a fill when I initially expected. Instead of letting that order hang, cancel it, right? Reset and try to get a price lower than that fill. That saved me some money. It's right on VWAP here. That's kind of interesting. So it'd have to be a 747 stop. Low vol pullback into VWAP. Not a bad entry target. Now again, as is, the risk is too much here, right? It's 590 bucks. Great entry, Jeremy. So yeah, look to make sure you don't let this trade go red here now, right? You're up 20 points, you're up 4R. Don't let that cost you money. Oh, mean. So we might get this similar look here on on ES, right? Where it's reversal, breakout, and then we can get a low vol pullback into VWAP, right? That would also be basically the exact same scenario. Let's go. 800 bucks to start the day. Fantastic work. Well done, sir. Hell yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. And a good decision to sell, right? Great decision to sell. Okay, so still a higher high, higher low. Okay, guys, I am in 756.75, 2 contracts, stop loss at 47. Let's see if this thing can rocket ship here. So far, so good. Okay, so far so very good. Okay, watching closely here. Come on. Ooh. Come on, get above 70. Come on. All right, guys, I'm out. That's mean. Should have closed there maybe at that 68 touch. So once it couldn't hold that 70 area, right, or couldn't get above, needed to have found a close. Probably should have found one a little bit earlier, right? It was up like 500 bucks, didn't take it. It's a little bit greedy potentially. So now we're going to wait for 10 a.m. data, right? Just drop in a second here. Big flush. Wow. Jolts must have been real bad. Now getting under yesterday's low. So we've invalidated, right? I mean, not above the pre-market low, but invalidated yesterday's price action a little bit. Interesting. It's me biggest volume of the day here. 50 seconds to go. Might be bigger than any volume yesterday. How are our semiconductors name? All dying. So I think we can start to maybe map out a bearish scenario here. And we're targeting 21.5, 21.4, 21.3. But yeah, this is biggest volume of the day, biggest volume of the week right here so far. So I'm willing to have a little bit of flexibility. And then the thing to be watching here carefully, right, is to not allow, for us to FOMO and chase this, right? That would be a bad decision. But this could be potentially setting up as like a capitulation type setup, right? Especially because it bounced right off 600. How bad was the jolts? So way more job openings than expected. Okay. It was a big dump. So down 270 bucks here on the day, right? That's fine. Very easily within one trade here. 10 points, right? And what we're looking for, right, ideally is a close here under 600. Lose that psych level. So let's see if this thing can close under 6, right? That would be our setup trigger here. Be close. Ooh. It's right at it. Second candle's really big volume too, actually. CL, not particularly tradable. Stop loss on this, though, now too big, right? Realistically, you're looking at 30-odd points. And the fact that it couldn't hold under 6 makes me just a little bit pessimistic. Just a little bit. Yeah, 600 defended again there. Each defense of it, though, that bounce is getting smaller and smaller. So maybe this will be a 10-min setup now to the downside. It's a big bar. Oh my gosh. And then we'd be targeting the 2R range here if it ever loads up again. Again, back up above 6. This has to close under 6. Same thing with ES, has to close under 6,000. I'm impressed. That was quite the puke. We'll be doing something like this here now, right? So obviously the stronger this candle closes, the better. I'm impressed. So definitely watching to the downside here now. "13 seconds. And we don't really want to see this thing retesting that 600 area. Right? If this thing's going to break down, we want it to break down pretty much immediately here. So for now, stop loss 580. Call it 581. Okay. Don't think that quite made a lower low here yet. Okay, now it has. Now we're looking for a gentle pullback here above 55. It's not gentle. That's not gentle. Not increasing. Both impressed and disgusted. Again, CL not particularly giving me anything here. So for me, it's generally psychological levels, right? So I want to see it hold under round numbers. So under 600, under previous low of day, right? So if this candle made a low, this 1006 candle, I'd like to see it close under that barrier, right? For strength to the downside. And so it's just basically every point of previous resistance, I want to see that now act as support for a downside narrative. Or if that can't hold, right, then that's not strong from bears. So I'd anticipate wanting to see some sort of bullish control to step in at that point. So either under the levels I've got mapped out here, right, so written down here, or under previous low or previous high, or above previous low, previous high. Does that make sense? Yeah, totally, yeah. And I love those kind of questions, right? So if there's something there that doesn't make sense, happy to answer questions based on my trading. I mean, those are the stuff I can help with. Stuff where I have to be your Best Buy Geek Squad, I don't have any ability to really help there. So stuff like that, absolutely no problem. Okay, so again, right, still watching potentially here on this NQ to the downside. Now on the 15. Right, we held under 600, full body bearish candle, biggest volume in a while. Come on. So I still think this is only a 15-min setup here. Okay, so now we're looking for a pullback into 58.50, right? Might not happen. Otherwise, we're looking for a high volume 3-main candle or 5-main candle, right? To break down and hold under previous low of day, where we could then target 500. Okay, so that 3-main is on increasing volume here. But we don't have a ton of space, right? So we've got to be a little bit cautious with this. Now we're back to the 15, guys. Back to the 15. So we're looking for a pullback. Stop loss 83, we'll call it. We're looking for, yeah, 57 or better as a pullback price here. Okay, so watching carefully. That was close. 2 points. Okay, just a little bit more. Too fast so far. Too fast. Better. Okay, guys, I am short 563, one contract. Stop at 82. Sorry, stop at 583. Okay, took the stop. Man. Didn't have time to write that out. Well done, well done. Just trying to look potentially now for reversal scenarios. Still not enough volume here to justify. A little bit of a butt kick in here. $600 down. A little bit more than that. 660 down. $10.25. $50 seconds to go. Let's see if this can go increasing volume here. Be a nice 3 green soldiers pattern. I don't think it's going to go increasing. kind of feels like conditions where I want to scalp away and play micro moves. I don't know if that's a good thing. See, although the volume isn't perfect, this is telling me downside. And then you try to get short as close to 600 as possible. So this is something, I mean, look, I'm going to be careful how I phrase this. But yesterday we talked about a little bit on the transition to being a little bit more discretionary. Where you trade the concept, right, as much as you trade, I mean, trade the concept, trade your plan, do all that kind of fun stuff. But you put the emphasis on your risk reward, on losing small, right, protecting winners. And give yourself a little bit more flexibility on how you can execute your thesis. This feels like a scenario where that's more profitable at the moment. We've done nothing here to invalidate this big selling confirmation, right? And so I'm trying to think about how reasonable is it to play those moves for small pops. And again, either green right away, right? Or out right away. Now, if this thing holds under 500, right? Now we're back in business for that 400 touch. So I'm definitely watching here, team. I don't know if that, what I just kind of talked about made sense there. But it does sometimes feel like I miss moves waiting for volume confirmation. So stop for now, 5:15. Now more, okay. Now 522. Call it 523. Okay, so now watching for a pullback. Above 500, right, is what I want. Too fast. There's a big buyer hanging out at 500. You can see every time we get below, we're bouncing up 10 points. So we can either wipe them out. Okay, we'll do this, right? 505 stop. Okay, guys, I am going to start looking here potentially. Just a little bit of a buffer here, 508. Nope. Again, bike buyer stepping in and defending. I haven't seen any issues, Topher, personally. Okay, maybe an apex issue, yeah. Okay, so I'm still interested here on this 3-min. $65 stop loss, right? Stop loss 65. Man, things are moving so fast. Wow. Okay, so watching at this 50 area, right, for a short. Oh, trying to get my stop loss set up. Give me a maybe mean reversion setup here. Need to close above 64. Again, still only the 2 trades taken here today. Feels like more. To be honest, feels like more. Yeah, for sure, Topher. That's what they tend to always do. They tend to not screw people over for that stuff. Definitely nice of them. CL been in a disgusting range here all day. So I just want to scalp here. Can't target 400. That's too close. Double inside bars. Definitely setting up for an explosive move here again. So now new low of day. Yeah, big bounce off of that 400 again, right? 30 points in 5 seconds. Keep getting these little relief bounce setups. And then it flushes through, right? It's kind of what we've seen here so far today. But it doesn't want to close under these psychological levels, which is keeping me in no man's land, which is kind of driving me nuts. So that little bounce there was worth $500. Wouldn't say I'm fighting demons. That's not how I feel. I feel like I'm fighting plays where I feel, well, I gotta be careful how I phrase this, but directional plays where I feel like I have an edge without it giving me a setup trigger. So it just keeps reminding me, this price action keeps reminding me of it's a great line by Jesse Livermore, where you don't know what the market's going to do until you place a bet. And I feel like that's the bets I've placed here today are giving me an edge. Yeah, it was the bigger volume than anything we saw there last couple days. And then the fact that we made a lower low under yesterday's low of day. So we invalidated both yesterday's price action and yesterday's volume. So there's two ways for us to invalidate price action, Craig, right? We break out through that range, right? Previous day's range, or we break out or invalidate it on volume. We did both on NQ here. So bigger volume than anything we've pretty much seen in a week. And on that candle, right, under yesterday's low of day. Okay, so I'm interested here in a possible reversal scenario. Be something like this. 444. Does that make sense? Yeah. 30 points, still too much. Needs to pull back just a little bit more here. What was that? 21,444. Okay, so now stop at 61. But man, it goes 30 points instantly. Frick me. I know it's tough to get everything set up in time here. So it's kind of it's why it's making me feel like I want to scalp. Again, 30 points is too much. Might have to wait for this on the 5 here. Okay, so again, watching here. Come on, gentle pullback. Come on. Scalping is just being aggressive with how you manage your position. So getting in and out quickly. Going for small moves, like precision cuts. Nice work, Jack. All right, guys, I am in 5:06 on the dot. Okay, so far so good here. Fuck, finally. All right. So we'll not let this go red now. We'll not let this go red. Come on. Okay, guys, I have closed that trade. Closed that trade. Fill price, 524.25. Nice work, Kiki. Same idea as me. Well done. Now it runs. Okay, so we can always reset, right? No worries. Runs huge. Classic. All right, so we'll reset here. Right, stop loss now, 499.50. Well, that's too big. Okay, made back almost 400 bucks there. Pretty good. Okay, so now we're watching here on this 10-min on NQ, right? Same idea, playing that possible reversal scenario up towards high a day. Okay, so stop loss, right, for now, 539, a little bit lower. Say 537. Okay, watch this pullback here. Nice work, Rusty. Okay, guys, I am back in 552. Back in 552. One contract again. Okay, took the stop, took the stop. be able to try this again here. Okay, I could try this again. Stop at that 528. But just gotta be careful. It's dying on these breakouts here a little bit. Love to see you guys having nice days here now, though. That's fantastic. Still too much risk here, right? It's 30 points. It's too much. 1107. $33 still too much. Okay, so starting to watch here again, team. Starting to watch here again. Now I'm going to try to see how close I can get this to 500, right? Yeah, so you can see the ticker here, top left-hand corner, Christopher. It's NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. Or you can see it here, right? NQ1 exclamation mark. What a day. Nice work, Jack. Well done for being green. That's fantastic. MNQ would be micros, Christopher. Just fine. Well, hey, man, I don't trade on Thinkorswim. It's not available to me here. So Google search would be able to save me some time. Let's go, Rusty. How much was the payout? What'd you get? Hey, it's still not bad, man. $1,200 ain't bad for a day's work. Okay, again, right? Watch how this reacts to 500. a little low vol pullback, right? All right, so I'm in 496. All right, and I'm out there at 514. That was a textbook scalp there. Let's go. See, that's what I meant by scalping trades, right? You see these reactions, and you just play where that big order is hanging, and you just catch the same move as they're trying to catch. And I'll take 18 points. And either you're green right away or you're wrong right away, right? Whew. So that was a quick $720. I'll take that all day long. And it's a nice day here. Yeah, and every now and then I gotta have an honest day's working. But I'll take it. How'd you guys feel about that? That make sense to you guys, what I did there? Right, so we've basically just seen on every single round number, right, that we've dealt with here today, like sell off down, bounce, sell off through, bounce, right? Sell off through, bounce. So just play that quick 30-second, just that quick fake out through was it 500? So low vol pullback right into our area. You're expecting big bulls to step in and defend that zone. And then just play that buy, right, under 490 or under 500. And you sell on the quick rip back above. Now, I wouldn't do it here now, right, because we failed on that recovery here. So we need to see a little bit more evidence that it's still sustainable. Oh. But that's what I mean about being a little bit more discretionary, right? And a little bit more aggressive. So if I can focus, right, on cutting those losers quickly and getting those good risk-reward ratios, gives me a lot of opportunities to basically play the variance game. Now, I want to stress, right, this doesn't work if you don't know how to lose well, right? If you're have to be ego green on every trade, it's going to be really tough to trade this way. If you're basically willing to say, hey, I can take 20 strikes before I strike out and I only need one win to pay me out, then you're setting yourself up for some success, right? So the thing we always have to focus on here first, be the best loser. When I don't make losing personal, and easier said than done, right, for sure, then I can play those moves, right? I can be a little bit, I don't want to say looser with my strategy. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case. But I can be more flexible in my execution of it and have more variance of it. And honestly, Sammy, just to answer your question there a little bit, the entry trigger there is to buy at the point where it feels scariest. Pretty much, right? When it like is making you feel as if you need to chase lower, that's the point to buy for a bounce higher. You know what I mean by that? Oh, I'm debating just walking away here, team. I do have a little bit of a hard out here today. I got an appointment I can't miss. But the volatility here is so good that it's hard to want to walk away. I gotta register my cart this afternoon. One sec, I'll be right back. It just to build off of, so this is going to give like a roadmap here. Sounds good, David. Have a great day, man. And you'll pick up that speed, David, the more that you practice with us and you find the rhythm and you find your flow. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. But yeah, guys, so the point, right, of getting good at cutting your losers quickly is it sets you up to be able to do mental stop losses, right? So if your muscle memory is to cut your losing trades as soon as you're red, right, or as soon as you feel like your trade is wrong, then all of a sudden, right, now you have the evidence to suggest that, hey, I can use mental stop losses potentially survive some fake outs, do things along those lines, right, with my stop loss system. But you basically have to prove to yourself that, hey, I can actually cut my losers without making them feel personal or without building up that hopium. So the roadmap, right, for me is to get better at buying deeper pullbacks, getting better at taking stop losses, right, quickly, so that I can have more flexibility with my execution, right, and be able to trade a move higher in 3 trades instead of necessarily in 1 trade. Does that make sense? Right, so I'm not going to trust my ability to execute stop losses or mental stop losses until I can do it before it hits my Alamo, right? So the point of having these hard stop losses and then closing it before that is that you have a gamified way of losing small, right? Either you stop yourself out right before it hits your max loss, or you take your max loss if you fail to find that courage. But the more and more you build up that ability, the worse it's going to feel, right, of taking that $500 loss or $300 loss or whatever it is, right? And so as you start to build up that addiction to losing small, you're fighting back against that hopium, right? You're countering basically those biases. And now you can set yourself up to be green. And you can survive fake outs. You can do that sort of stuff. You can look at price action more objectively instead of, oh, I need this trade to be green. Otherwise, I feel like an idiot, right? All right, team. I don't think I'm going to place any further trades here. I got 5 minutes before I got to go. So I'm going to take off here. Any questions here, team? Any questions? Everyone feeling good today? All things considered, everyone feeling good? Love it, John. Love it. It was crazy. Yeah. Good man, Craig. I don't know if it necessarily made me a better trader, Craig. I think it just made me like myself more. And so liking myself more made it easier for me to believe in myself. And believing in myself more, that then compounds into trusting that you can do anything. I also think it's the resilience of just consistently exercising and getting in good shape, like the discipline required there. If you can be disciplined in one element of your life, you can be disciplined in another. But I would say, like that, I've a little bit an extreme here, but I hated myself a little bit after I quit my job in Guernsey. I was like very overweight. I didn't like the types of girls I was getting attention from, things along those lines, and I needed to basically decide that, hey, I was gonna make some changes. And so what I wrote down, right, was if I was a billionaire, what would be the things that I would do that would make me happy? And then just ranked those things from most expensive to least expensive and started doing the least expensive things first. And so the first thing on that list was get in really good shape. And for me to get in really good shape, I just needed a pair of running shoes, and that was it. Yeah, Christopher. So I trade using Interactive Brokers, Tradeovate via TradingView, and then TopStep X. All right, team, any more questions here? Any more questions? Yeah, fire away, Oz. Yeah, I mean, I could see your logic for possible being bearish. I would say you have a pretty long trend line here that it's like pretty much right off of. So it seems like it likes to fake out through that trend line and then recover. So I think a little bit challenging to be hyper aggressive to the downside here. That for me would be what sticks out. For those of you who sent me journal entries or messages here on Discord, bear with me, guys. I will respond to them here in the afternoon. So just apologies, a little bit late. But yeah, I got to rush out here, guys. I cannot be late for this. So same deal like always, team, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. We'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, looking forward to seeing you guys all in the live stream here again tomorrow. And hopefully, right, we can keep stacking up on what has been a good day here today, all things considered. And let's see if we can keep kind of building up and compounding away and making good decisions. So slowly getting better each and every single day. Happier with my trading today, not necessarily because of the P&L. P&L's fine. Basically flat on the year here. But happy with just how I was more aggressive in cutting losers here today and more aggressive in taking my wins. And that for me is always a winning combo. I can always take more decisions. I can always take on another trade. I don't need to chase, and I don't need to assume it's all going to move in one go. But a great day here. And yeah, we'll see if something else can kind of shape up here for the rest of the afternoon. So have yourselves a great day, team. See you all tomorrow, and looking forward to seeing you then. Peace.